And welcome to another exciting show of Fab Life. And here I am with Kevon Tyrre,
What's up?
R&B artist.
Yep. How are you
And
guys? Welcome.
welcome. And today I'm super excited because we're doing a review of Glass.
We are two movie nerds,
Yes.
happily movie nerds, may I
Yes,
add.
yes,
And we love movies. We've talked about this off camera with
Yes.
more than a few things. This
yes.
is our first foray into it, so we're
Yes.
very excited, and hopefully we get to do more of it.
It's a little bit late
Just,
review, I
yeah,
might add,
true.
but
It's been
we're
about-
still doing a review of this fabulous.
It's been out for about a
movie.
month now, right?
Not quite,
About 3
month.
weeks?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, fair
Mhm.
enough. Fair enough.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
But yeah, we followed this movie and the trilogy that the movie, which
Yes.
obviously we'll get into shortly, for some time now. Like most people who knew about M. Night Shyamalan, the director of the movie.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan, thank you.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. And
Shyamalan.
once we heard about it, we
Mhm.
were very excited about it. The promos and the commercials for this movie was very interesting, very
Yes.
exciting. And once we kind of got into it, well, wait, before we even go to all that,
Yes.
for those who don't know, we should probably set up what Glass is based from. Probably do that first before we get into our full review critique of the movie.
Well, I actually wanted to do it the other way.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Okay, that's
And
fair.
that's why I asked our director to post those pictures later. And
Fair. Well,
second
fair. Hey,
segment.
fair point. Fair point.
So now,
It's all right. Hey,
now we're
it's
just
all
gonna do a review about it, and
All
then
right.
we'll talk about it.
sure. Let's go.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
so, what are your thoughts about the movie?
Well, let me see. I enjoyed it. Now, this is how I go by movies. I usually go by, will I watch it again? If it's a second viewing, I will definitely say that's a movie you gotta watch. Or I will say I enjoyed the movie, or I'll say the movie is trash. It's basically one of three.
Right. Right.
This was an enjoyable movie. I could watch it a second time, but I'm not compelled to. You know what I mean? But I thought it was a solid movie nonetheless. I thought it was good acting across the board. There's certain things that I won't get into immediately.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little more, but I basically thought the logic that the director had for the story and everything went the way I think it should have went, and I didn't find many flaws in it.
Yes.
What was your take on the movie?
My
for the most
take
part?
on the movie is that I really loved it, and of course I kind of expected it to end that way.
Mhm.
Simply because it's a Night Shyamalan movie, and I've been following his movies. All these,
Right.
even if they're not, some of them were not really popular amongst the moviegoers.
Right.
The popcorn blockbuster moviegoers, the ones that are used to all the hype and all
Yeah.
that. We're
Right.
not trying to put you on blast. I mean, if that's the kind of movie that you like, then yeah. I
You know
mean,
what?
hey,
I'll put him on blast
Yeah.
because I think mostly America's taste stinks. But
oh, okay.
but
I didn't say it.
I said it. I said it. So blast me. I got Facebook. I don't
Mhm.
care. People talk crazy anyway on Facebook on social
Yeah.
media. However, my thing on it, and we'll also go right into the meat of it. As we know, M. Night Shyamalan. Shyamalan,
Yeah.
right? He likes to put twists at the end of his movies.
Yes.
And this movie was no exception. For me, I had no problem with the twist because the twist
Mhm.
was the movie is based on the real world
Yes.
as we see it,
Yes.
not from the real world and then building up.
Yes.
The real world, if that actually existed within how we live our lives.
Yes. Yes.
So because of that, I had no problem with that. Now, a lot of critiques and movie critics, because I follow a lot of that online like you do,
Yes.
they said it was anticlimactic. I disagree. I say that because life is anticlimactic. A lot of
Right,
times
yeah,
that happens.
yeah.
So for that to go down and the way that it went with the secret society and
Mhm.
all that other stuff, spoilers now. We're getting into
Yes.
spoiler
Yes.
territory.
Yes.
I thought that made sense because
Yes.
of all of the things that people do and
Mhm.
like the Masons and
Yes.
all these different entities.
Yes.
It makes sense because they exist. Those certain things exist. Some of the conspiracy theorist ideas,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a lot of them are far-fetched, but they're based in fact. So because of that, I found it to be rooted in some form of truth, which made me buy into what happened and how
Yes.
it went the way it did, which
Yes.
made more sense to me than anything else.
Yeah.
So did you agree with that, or do you have a different take?
I love the way it ended
Mm-hmm.
because hold on, I got a little bit distracted by noise here.
Yeah.
um, because they show all the characters, and the scenes were kind of claustrophobic
Mm-hmm.
because they were all inside that asylum.
Right.
And all of a sudden, like, the story took on another turn and it became bigger.
Okay.
It became bigger, and then just I don't want to give the movie away.
I mean,
Yeah, but just the thought of that, there's somebody like a secret society out there
well,
silencing people with superpowers,
Yeah.
and that line. And by the way, directoire, you can move the picture to the second one with Sarah Paulson.
Well, I like that it was bigger towards the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That ending made it bigger in a certain sense. Obviously, it was.
That's exactly my point.
Right,
Yeah.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that part I agree
Yes,
with.
yes,
That part definitely made it
Yes.
bigger because of how it ended.
yes,
Because before it was just kind of within their world
yes,
of them and the people close to
Yes.
them. But then towards the end, then it expanded, even though things went how they went.
yes.
So
And the thing I mean, talking about it, to you right now, it's like a revelation of people's fear and paranoia.
mm-hmm.
It plays, and like what I said, people are afraid to encounter a person who has more power than they have.
I felt that way,
Yeah.
and I'm like every movie critic has their thing that they kind of latch on that
Mhm.
they're happy about. Like the woman who does Beyond the Trailer, Grace Randolph.
Yes.
Her big thing is Wonder Woman.
Yes.
She talks about it in almost everything she does. My thing is Superman versus Batman.
Yes.
Batman v Superman.
Yes.
Right? And I say that to make this point. I like their notion of the fear of someone would have,
Yes.
of someone who lived that way in the real world. So that is logical. That
Yes.
makes sense. That would
Yes.
actually happen in today's world.
Yes.
So when I watch Glass and I
Mhm.
see that happen, that's
Yes.
not a far fetch for me, because a lot of people who critiqued it, they wanted it to be a happy thing where the hero survived and this happened or that happened or this didn't go that way. But it actually went in a totally different direction
Yes.
than people anticipated it to be, because most superhero movies, they survive or they get by or they power on, or whatever the case.
I love those superhero movies that
As do
you
I.
just mentioned. But did you notice that those superhero movies are catering more to children? Even if the tone is a little bit, adult,
Yeah.
they have, there's like an adult, undertone to it. But Shyamalan's movie is really not for children.
No, he's
really
doing
not.
he's doing a grown-up movie.
A grown-up movie about superheroes.
Right. And to
Yeah.
his credit,
Mm-hmm.
he combined elements of Split and Unbreakable
Yes.
as far as tone and pacing
Yes.
on how things worked. And I think, while I'm not going to say it was the greatest movie ever made, it definitely made an entertaining movie, and it linked everything together
Yes.
in a way that I thought was cohesive for the most part.
Right. And I love the fact that the psychologist, who is played by my favorite actress, by the way, Sarah Paulson.
a very
Yeah.
talented one.
Yeah.
Very
The
talented.
Sarah Paulson.
Yes.
Um,
She was a bit muted. I'm not gonna say I didn't
Yeah.
like her work or her role and how she did it.
yes.
Some people would have found it boring as their critique.
Yes.
I bought it. I'll
Yes.
just say it that way. I bought it because there's a lot of people who kind of live
Yes.
that way, think that way. So it didn't seem like a far-fetched thing to me, and
Yes.
seemed like someone who just had a purpose and was driven, and that's
Yeah.
how they emoted that. So no,
Mhm.
I'm right. I wouldn't say she was the strongest character.
Yes.
She
yes.
didn't stand out to me necessarily, but her as an actress and knowing, respecting her craft, I bought into what that character was and why.
And I love her. I mean, I've been following her in American Horror Story because that's
I've watched
where I first
I've watched
seen
it for years
Sarah
as well.
Paulson, and also, you know, and then after that she developed a lot of notoriety, and then she ended up in movies like, you know, Ocean's 8. She was in Ocean's 8.
That's right. I've yet to see that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she is phenomenal in Ocean's 8. And
yeah. So yeah, I will be watching that eventually. I will watch that. But
and then my favorite line of Sarah Paulson in the movie when she was talking to one of the superheroes is, "You can't have this much power." I thought that was
but
you know,
that's why I harken back to the Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Even though I know I'm on a soapbox about it, and the more we do these kind of shows, I'll probably harken to it often. But that's why I feel that way, because a lot of people in these movies, they want hope, they want something to inspire them, things like that.
Oh, wait a minute, I should correct myself. She said no one should have this much power.
Right.
That's what she said.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. I got you. So they always want these hopeful movies, and not that you can't make one, but there's nothing wrong with doing something that is more honest and more to what people actually would feel versus the opposite. And you can have both. So I definitely agree with that. But let's talk about the positives in the movie, since we kind of went the general thing. Everyone agrees.
Oh, were we talking about the negative side of the movie?
No, we're talking about the positives. We're talking. We go to the negatives.
In my head, it was all positive to me.
Oh, this type of guy. There are some negatives in there. Well,
okay.
Right.
So the director is giving us the peace sign, which
means we're running on time.
We're
getting short on break. But obviously, when we'll come back, we'll talk about the positives of the movie. We'll get a little more specific. What we liked. There are going to be some negatives. There's going to be some critiques. And we'll get into that. And obviously, we'll go more into the background of what made this movie how it was, and the connection of why people were so gaga about the whole thing. All right.
So we will be back. Stay tuned.
We've reached the age of live streaming on social media shows. You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve. So why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the US are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now.
Social media shows
is about
branding,
opportunity,
and outreach.
We are an entertainment company that empowers others
by promoting and supporting our community
and everyone who reaches our content.
Here on social media shows,
here we're a family.
We are family. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, sing. We are family.
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 We are family, and we want you to be part of our social media shows family.
And welcome back to this exciting segment of Fab Life. And here I am with Kevon Tyrre doing our personal movie review of Glass by Night Shyamalan.
There we go.
Yes.
Quick shout out to the people watching. My man
Yes.
Casey Man Warren back there at the East Coast. He's in Florida. Amanda Rupert, Casey Brooks, Carla Sutton, Miss Pastrana. If I said that wrong, please forgive me. Of course, Jonathan Griffin, my boy out there. Mario Amaral. All right, Miss Bella Luna. Ralph Shields. I always hear about you, bro. I never see you, though. Carmina, Gia Parker. What's up? I see you, girl. And, of course, Patricia Luciano out there in Reno. Respect. Gotta give you love. And Andre King, one of my role models as a musician. Thank you very much for checking us out, brother. I know I missed some other people, but we gotta keep it moving.
Yes. And so I'd like to shout out to Eva Marie Moyari. Eva, I love you, Eva. And thank you for tuning in. Yes, so excited that you guys are all watching.
Right. Now,
okay.
Positives and negatives that we enjoyed. Now, obviously, everyone agrees that the positive is James McAvoy. That dude got the most screen time.
Yes.
And he was amazing.
Yes.
Amazing actor, the way he did all that stuff.
Yes.
He locked it in. I may be a little biased in this, but I think that Bruce Willis and Sam Jackson were very good as well.
They were all good. They were all good in their own way. They were all good.
I agree. Now, now this leads to my first critique. Even though I liked how the movie was, in a sense, it was kind of lopsided because the movie's named Glass.
Yes.
So obviously, each movie title that set up in a trilogy should have kind of hearkened on the character.
Yes.
So when Glass is there, we don't really see him engage in stuff. We see the machinations, what he's up to towards the end.
Yes.
But it's not really physically there. So it kind of gives us an issue as far as why is he not doing as much as he is until the back end. You know, now obviously it makes sense towards the end. Yeah. But you kind of wonder why is the movie named Glass when James McAvoy and Bruce Willis are kind of holding the movie down to an extent.
To me, it's true that it seemed like that they were holding the movie down, but the way I perceived it is that Glass was orchestrating and manipulating things in the background.
Agreed.
Because to me, silent water runs very deep.
Okay.
And that is what they showed in the movie. He was very silent in the background and pretending to be what is that? He wasn't in a coma, but he was paralyzed.
Right, they had him in a psychiatric ward.
Yeah.
He was drugged.
Yes, he was drugged.
And without going too much into it, obviously we said some
and
stuff.
He couldn't. In the beginning, like he couldn't talk and he couldn't move, and he was just in his wheelchair.
Right, but he basically played possum, just to make it short.
But you knew, like I knew, that this guy was up to no good.
I just wondered where the penny was gonna drop.
Yes,
that was my thing,
and it did.
Once it did, it dropped. It dropped very well.
Yeah.
Once the penny dropped, it was just like, okay. Now, I would say as far as pacing,
it was one bloody hell of a penny drop.
I got you.
Emphasis on the bloody hell.
But I would say, I wish that they kind of set it up where you kind of knew he was playing possum. That way, when he finally opened things up, you kind of you can get that payoff of him going through everything and doing the stuff that he was doing. So that part I will agree as far as the anticlimactic, but to your point, once everything was revealed toward the end, you saw that he knew where things were going and he planned accordingly because he knew that was the only way it could go. That part I agree with 100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
so,
other thing I found interesting was the movie was the supporting cast.
Yes.
Now, to their point, I loved that they had the kid from the first movie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Back in this one.
Yes, yes.
That was cool.
Yes.
And he was very good.
Yes.
He was good. You know, and they had all the people from the other movies, you know, there to show their parts of, you know, Bruce Willis's character, James McAvoy's character, obviously Glass's mother in the movie.
Yes.
You know, I found all that stuff to be very, very cool to kind of
Yes.
bring that together. And all of them obviously were good in their own right.
Yeah.
You know, so I found that very cool. I didn't find a negative in them at all. I just found it intriguing because they opened up other places that they obviously did not go. So that part's anticlimactic, but you understood why. You know, I guess if there's anything I would say that was fatal issue would be the pacing at certain times. Because I don't mind the psychiatric.
It was a
part.
Shyamalan kind of.
Yes,
pacing.
it was. It was.
Yeah.
And he's always been slow burn.
Yes.
He's always been a slow burn guy.
Yes.
But when the movie started, it was actually really energetic.
Yes.
And that was very cool.
Yes.
And it was very cool towards the end, even though things went how they went.
Yes.
So I didn't really have a problem with the middle. I would just say that I wish they restructured some of how they paced that.
Yes.
You know, that way you could just feel you could have more of a payoff when things start to rev up again. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
that's
so can we move on to another picture? I think it's I don't know if it's the three of them. Yeah, the three of them.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll talk about. So Glass is actually a movie that's based, not based, but like it's a sequel to a movie called Split and a movie called Unbreakable.
Right. It was it's a trilogy.
It's a trilogy. Yes.
Right. Now to set everything up, Unbreakable came out in 2000.
Yes.
Obviously all three movies were directed by Mr. Shyamalan.
Yes.
Right? I'm saying it your way right now. Shyamalan. Right?
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
Yes.
And it basically was what would happen before we had the Marvel, DC, all that stuff. It was the idea of a superhero in the real world. Bruce Willis was the character of the superhero. Sam Jackson was the opposite because his character, Mr. Glass, he had very sensitive skin, very sensitive bones, I should say.
Yes.
So he was easily very brittle.
Yeah.
So his thought process was, because he was a comic book guy, that if there's someone like him existed, like Mr. Glass, very brittle, had to be someone who's the opposite of him that exists, that is unbreakable, hence the title. And that's where Bruce Willis' parts comes in. Very underrated, very polarizing at the time of the movie.
Yes.
But as time went on, it became a fan favorite, and people got to really understand and love the movie.
Yes.
And that, became one of Mr. M. Night's legends.
Yes.
Movies that got the backdrop. BVS. Sorry, I had to say it. I had to say it. BVS.
Batman versus Superman.
Had to say it. Sorry.
To those that don't know what BVS is.
BVS. Underrated.
Yes, BVS.
Underrated. All right.
Yes.
So, that began to the next movie, Split, where we have James McAvoy and the multiple personalities.
Yes.
And they both talk about similar things about the human condition being more than what it is, evolving.
Yeah, evolving.
Right. Because, and there's logic to that, because in nature, as we see, every animal evolves and adapts to their environment.
Yes.
So in that regard, humans should be able to have that same thing because we're animals as well. One difference because we have this, and I think therefore I am.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's really the only difference. And then we're just, less hair furrier than monkeys. So, but anyway, they have that, and at the end of the movie, they harken back to Bruce Willis's character of Unbreakable in the end credit, which of course had geek boys like us.
Oh yes,
go insane and cream in our pants. We were just like, "What? No! Oh my god! Oh my god! Did you see that?" It was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So
I love it. I love it. He's such a fanboy.
It was ridiculous. We were just like, "Oh my god!"
Yes. See, the way that he is on the outside is what I am like on the inside, but like I'm very emotionless. In the movie theater, you don't see me like,
Oh, yeah.
And then you too. I mean, I bet like you too, you're very emotionless as
yes,
well.
yes. But I'm just,
yes.
It's, you know what? It's not my fault. This is how I just, that's why I act stupid in movies. Sorry. Can't help it.
Well, no, I love it. I love it. It just shows that you're really into it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I definitely was a big fan of these movies.
Yeah.
And I took my kid to go see it, which was very great. But I found that I think in the long run of this movie, I think it'll be seen the same light or similar light as Unbreakable as the years pass.
Yes.
That is
yes.
my take on that. Only because people didn't really understand Unbreakable at the time it came out. It gave them some time for them to really understand what the movie was about and why.
You know, I don't remember much of specific scenes in Unbreakable, but I do remember enjoying that movie a lot.
Well, like Parts of Glass, Unbreakable was a slow burn.
And here's the most fascinating thing about Unbreakable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because how many years was it? Like 15, 20 years ago?
20 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was still in the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
And one of my friends who happens to be a pastor saw that movie, and he was telling me about the movie. Oh, you gotta see it. And he did this and that. And he has some power, but it's not really like a comic book superhero power, but he does have power.
Right.
And my friend Alan was really fascinated about the movie. So I'm hoping, Alan, if you're watching that you've seen Split and this Glass, because this is like a bookend to the to Glass and Split.
Because he did say that at the end of this would be the last one. He wasn't going to continue.
Yes.
Another, extending this universe.
As it should, yeah.
Well, the way it ended, you understand that. Yeah. However, the way it ended, it kind of was. You could see the potential of it doing more.
Yes.
Only because the way it ended, obviously, certain characters wouldn't be in the movie anymore, but there were other people that could shepherd new things with new people.
Yes.
Because the way it ended, it kind of harkened the possibility of other things.
Absolutely.
Right. So it kind of left that door open. Yeah. Now, if you obviously, for those who don't know, M. Night works with studios.
It's M. Night now.
Yes, because I'm not going to mess up Shyamalan.
Yeah.
I'm getting it right because I'm being silly
He
right
got
now.
I'm
getting it right because I'm being silly.
Right.
So I'm just going. I'm doing Mr. JC. I'm Mr. Shyamalan. I'm doing it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Our director is messing with us now.
Yeah, right. I know.
She's messing. Shyamalan.
Very sexy behind the camera.
There we right.
With her boy shorts.
Yes. She looks amazing in her Spanx.
Yeah.
Great. Right. We're messing with her.
No, they're not Spanx. They're actually training shorts or exercise shorts.
What is she training for? Is the question.
The Olympics.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're gonna leave
She'll
that.
Be holding the torch.
We're gonna leave it there and get back on topic.
We'll go back to the movie.
Yes. It's fun to mess with the director, but let's go back on topic.
Yes.
Now, M. Night Shyamalan.
You got it.
Right, B. Thank you. See, now I know how I have to say it. I have to say it say it Mr. JC with the Shyamalan. But he worked with a lot of studios, as most directors do. And the last few years, he's decided to finance and produce himself. And to that, he's gotten great success. Even the movie to this date, because I think the movie cost $20 million.
Okay.
It cost $20 million to make. And
not that much.
No. In movie terms, very, very low budget. Very little, yeah. So let's say with that in marketing, we'll double that. And we'll say $40 million total for that in promotion. And the movie's made about over 110, 120 million.
Can you hold that thought? Yes. 20 million is very little because I will be having $100 million when I'll be doing our movie. So don't you worry.
Oh, here we go. Is that why this is there? So, right. The streak is because it costs that much, baby.
Yes, it's got location shoots all over the world.
Shoots, okay.
Yeah, and
you're gonna be gonna be Geezy Bond.
We're going back to
Geezy Bond.
Geezy Bond.
Right. Okay.
Yes,
I dig that.
Yes, and it's magical powder ecstasy.
Oh, here we go. Lucasfilm does not know what's getting itself into messing with this boy here. But let's say a $40 million movie with principal everything and then marketing promoting. And at present, the movie worldwide has made about $120 million.
That's amazing.
So
congratulations,
right,
M. Night.
Right. So to his credit, he knows what the movies he wants to make.
Yes.
He knows how he wants to make them. And he doesn't want to deal with a whole lot of BS. So he's like, this is how I want to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. And rather take it or I'll just do it somewhere else.
Although a few years ago, he did do I think it was Signs with Mel Gibson in
And
it.
that was a big hit.
Yes.
That made like over
And
300
he had
million.
aliens in that
Yes, he
movie.
did.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, he did. And
Yes.
that was a big, big hit.
Yes.
But then he had like, what was it, The Happening, which
Yeah.
was not that great compared to what people saw. I haven't watched it. The Last Airbender, which made a lot of money, but people thought it was
The
atrocious.
Airbender,
Yeah, a lot of people. It made a lot of money, but it was.
I'm sorry to say this, but I thought it was really like a slow crawl. And I think that if you're gonna get into like the more popular comic book superhero, the pacing should be much faster.
But that's what the
Yeah.
you see how it goes back to my soapbox issue, right?
Yeah.
That's what they said about BBS.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't watched the movie, so I'll reserve my judgment on it.
Okay.
But in the case of BBS, for me, I like the pacing of it because Batman and Superman have never been necessarily a physical fight because Superman would kill Batman. We all know that because of Superman.
Absolutely.
But it was
Without
always
the kryptonite.
exactly that.
there's
So
no
the issue
contest.
with that is always been a psychological fight of point of views.
Mm-hmm.
Batman could do what he does because it's Batman. But if Superman did something Batman would do, then you're stepping over the line, which I find hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, it's just a point of view of how each character is.
Yes.
Now, to get back on our topic, of course, I have no problem with a slow crawl movie
Mm-hmm.
because as long as it sets up the character, it sets up the world building,
Yes.
then they get into the action.
Mm-hmm.
Now you understand where everyone stands and
Yes.
where they're fighting for, where they're coming
Yes.
from. Not just as an individual, but
Mhm.
as their house or their family or their whatever.
Right.
So I have no problem with that as long as you do it the right way.
That's right.
The problem is a lot of people expect these comic book movies to be action packed straight up. Now, I have no issue with that, of
Mhm.
course, because Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, it was pretty exciting.
It
there
was. Yeah.
Right. There was some slow setup times, but when the action hit, the payoff was amazing.
And I love Toby in it.
Right. And let's say
Mhm.
Wonder Woman. Another
Oh,
great
I
example.
love Wonder
Now,
Woman.
right. From my point of view, the setup took too long.
Mm-hmm.
But I will admit, when the payoff came, because there wasn't a lot of action in the first hour of
Yeah.
that movie. But once the action came, when she finally did Wonder Woman stuff, it was off the chain.
It was off the chain.
It was off the chain.
Because to me, it's all about the psychological character development, and I believe that a character shouldn't be one-dimensional. It
I
should
agree.
be you should give the audience a reason why that person, went completely rogue.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, it's just like Killmonger in the Black Panther. I mean,
Right.
there was a valid reason for him, although I'm not trying to justify what he did, but there was a valid reason why he felt. And I would, you know what? I mean, I would feel the same way.
But that's the
Mhm.
thing. For
Yeah.
a lot of those movies, you can get
Yeah.
where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And to keep it on topic with Glass, you see
Mhm.
why Sarah Paulson feels how she feels because she wouldn't be the only person that feels that way.
Yes.
There's
yes,
going to be other organizations and people
Yes.
of power and influence
yes,
that would try to push them back down because then they're no longer the top thing.
Yes.
So that makes perfect sense. I agree
She
with
wanted to hold power over the superheroes.
They wanted
the
to keep
people
things
with superpower.
right. They wanted to keep things as
Under
is,
control.
but the nature never works that way. It never
No,
has.
no,
You know. So
So
it looks like we are getting ready to take a
okay,
break.
we are actually this is it. So
Okay.
thank you for this exciting episode of the Fab Life. We
Yes.
had some challenges along the way because some people were hungry in the kitchen, and I could hear people, putting food in the microwave.
You know what?
and
No, hey,
utensils.
don't be that way because you talk all over the place on Musician Loves Honey, putting your stuff all up in that.
Musician loves
Yes,
honey.
when I do Musician Loves Honey and we're having something, he loves to put his 2 cents in and then wave his hair and go, darling. So you know what I call this? I call this balance, my friend.
I didn't realize I
very
was in Musician Loves Honey.
I knew because
Well,
when we do a show
I
and you want to
guess-
go ahead and put your 2 cents in,
We'll see.
uh-huh.
I know that Valerie will be there.
Okay,
I
well.
heard it through the grapevine.
Oh, is that right?
Mhm.
Valerie will be there. Well, I
Valerie.
say this: fair exchange ain't no robbery.
Okay,
That's what I say to
okay.
that.
I'll stay out of it because Valerie will be there tomorrow.
Well, we'll
not
see.
not me.
Well, we'll see about that. But
We're
hopefully,
doing a little split here.
yeah. We hopefully will do this again.
Yes.
So because we love movies, so we're definitely
Absolutely.
gonna talk about more stuff that big shows, big movies that'll come out.
Our next movie review with Kevon will be Captain Marvel. How about that?
You know what? High five.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
with that. So we'll
March.
Yes. So we will have that coming
Yes.
up when we'll do this again. In the
Okay,
meantime,
in the meantime, your greatest fashion accessory is your self-confidence. Chowder.